Hello and welcome back to the great Unexplained debate. This is a show hosted by myself for the next hour, asking some questions to my selected panel of guests. What we say, you see. This is unedited, it's recorded as live, so everything we say you're getting straight into your front room or your bedroom or your bathroom if you've got a TV in your bathroom. Don't let the plug slip into the bath because that'll electrocute you, and then we will be joining you on another series on the other side or from the other side, not the other channel. I'm going to stop waffling now and interview my guests. First we've got Phil Wyman here, and I'm very pleased to have Phil here, founder of Dead Haunted Nights, paranormal investigator, television presenter and author. Thank you so much for coming in, Phil.
Thanks for having me, Colin.
I know you've got a very, very busy schedule, as does Sarah Woodward. Thank you very much for coming in. I really do appreciate your time. Paranormal expert and founder of White Rose Paranormal. Guys, I really do appreciate you coming because I know you've got so much to do and it's very difficult to find time to do these things. It takes a lot out of the day. And obviously I've got Fred back next to me, as always, sitting there looking very calm, very demure, demonologist, presenter, author, lovely man, and person who sits next to me in these debates. Thank you guys for coming in. What I wanted to start to talk about today is fake mediums. We've approached the subject before, but it's something that never goes away because I constantly get emails, I constantly get people contacting us about either having been given fake readings or fake fortunes and all of this, and being charged an awful lot of money for it, or people have gone to stage shows and seen fake mediums at work. Some of them extremely well known, and I think it's a shame personally. I've got my own opinions on mediums, and I think all stage mediumship should be banned personally. But I'm just going to go one at a time. Sarah, what's your thoughts on mediumship in general?
I think I agree with what you're saying, really. When it comes to stage mediums, then it just doesn't do anything at all for me. We've used mediums on investigations, but as a rule we don't use them. We don't like to plant any suggestion into anybody's heads. I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not mediums do exist and whether they're real or not. I think some do and some don't, but it's very difficult to try and ascertain the difference between the both.
Because it's not an exact science, so it's very difficult to even look at. I mean, I'm happy where I am with it. I think, I don't believe them. Really.
Yeah.
There are some nice people out there who think they're psychic, and I wouldn't say that they weren't. No, I would say they aren't psychic, but they're nice people. What about you, Phil? What's your standpoint on the medium?
Again, I kind of sit on the fence with it. I have met a couple of mediums who aren't big names. They just do things, for the sake of it, really, not to make any money, not massive amounts of money, and they're really down to earth. And I find that the people that do make a lot of money from mediumship or so-called mediumistic powers, it's totally wrong. I totally agree with what you say about mediums, and I don't. I think fake mediums should be governed to a certain extent, and to a big extent, they should be governed full stop mediumistic and psychic shows and abilities and that kind of thing.
What do you think, Fred?
Well, we went into this a little bit the other day, didn't we? I think 99.9% of mediums are fake. I would have said 100%, but two that I've met, as I said before, they told me things they could never, ever have known in a million years about me. And so I believed them, and it was not just one or two things, it was a lot of things, and they would never have known. So I would say 99.9% of mediums are fake. The only way to really see a decent medium, and some of those are not that good, but in a spiritualist church is the best place to go, where they don't charge you money. But you don't, in a spiritualist church, you just leave a donation. You don't have to pay anybody.
Yeah.
Mediums that come around and want to charge you hundreds or even thousands of pounds.
The trouble is with the spiritualist church that almost makes mediumship a realm of just the spiritualist church, which I think has a great deal of failings, and I'm going to probably annoy a lot of people with that. But it's no secret. I think that there is they have this sort of hierarchy thing about we're in the spiritualist church, and again, none of them have proven that they actually can talk to the dead. A lot of them are very closed circles. I knew someone who was in a spiritualist church, so I won't mention their name, but they insisted to both Yvette and myself that every week they had this sitting circle where the psychic from the spiritual church actually had ectoplasm. We went, come and see it.
Okay.
And it was, yeah, of course you can come and see it. Every time we were going to see it, there was always an excuse. Can we film it? No, you can't film it. If we give you a camera, can you film it? No, they don't like film.
It's like when we were
Because it
doing
didn't happen.
when we were doing
Lying to us.
Kerrang Radio, you put out the £150,000 to someone that could come to the studio and
I did
make
hear
extra
that.
present.
If I'd have known that, I would have been there like a shot with my cheesecloth.
Phil automatically came psychic in
Nobody even called or emailed, let alone came in.
I went to psychic school.
Did you?
Yeah, no. I was just testing your abilities then, you see.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I knew.
your psychic ability.
I was testing you as well.
But this is the problem, is that we put out 150 grand for someone to prove that they're psychic, and I've still got 150 grand. Well, Fred doesn't know I actually put out his 150 grand. It was his car I put on.
It's worth more than that.
But no, it was cheap. It was a cheap value. They were getting a double bubble. But is that it with psychics? Is it the money? Is it the money thing? Because I know there's two people in America. I can't remember what their names are. They put $1 million out for someone to go and prove that they're psychic. And my huge argument here is, I know that these fake psychics out there, the first thing they'll say is, well, we don't do it for the money, which is rubbish.
Yeah.
They do it for the money. But okay, get £1 million, prove you're psychic, show the world that psychics do exist, which will do a great thing for psychic ability around the world, and give the money to charity. Everybody benefits.
The thing that kind of annoys me about it is when you set a challenge like that, most mediums that you approach with it will say, why do I need to prove it? I don't need to prove anything.
But they do need to prove it, that's the point.
I'm happy with the people I'm giving readings to, and they're happy with what I'm telling them, so why should I need to? And that's the big problem, isn't it? That's the big problem.
Yeah, it is, but I think that the reason I'm happy is almost ignorance is bliss. And there's that point where if someone is walking away from someone after paying 10, 20 quid or 50 quid, whatever it is they charge, that they can walk away with being read a load of Barnum statements and basically being duped into believing that this person's talking to one of their dead relatives. These people are happy because they're in ignorance, and of course the psychic's happy because they're making a fortune out of just making stuff up.
I mean, you say you get charged like 10, 20 quid. I mean, that might not sound an awful lot, but when you say and find out they're having like 10, 15, 20 readings a day that they can cram in over a 7-day period, that soon works out to be quite a heck of a lot of
but also
cash, doesn't it?
A lot of these people who go there, they're people who can't afford 10 or 20 quid and a lot of them don't do it once, they'll do it every week or they'll do it a couple of times a week. I know people who've spent fortunes on psychics and I think that it's so open to abuse, and I think there's like I say, I think psychics should be banned. I certainly think stage psychics should be banned now very quickly. It's very easy to do because there's no proof that they do it. You have 1,000 people coming in there paying 20 quid a ticket to see somebody standing up on stage who might give 3, 4, 5 readings to people. How the rest of those 2,000 people know that they're not their friends, they're not plants, they're not... I can stand up in front of 2,000 people saying, I've got a mechanic, I'm getting someone with tools. Does that mean anything to anyone? I can guarantee I'll probably get 10, 15 hands up with that. Does the name Bob mean anything? Okay, what about Rob? What about Pete? Oh, Pete, yeah, that's what he's telling me, not Bob, it's Pete. I can do that. And and when you think how much money they can earn, 2,000 people at 20 quid a head, 40 grand, and they take 80% of that box office.
I think
that's a lot of money.
I think anybody can do that, given the amount of people they're standing in front of, and what they're saying, how they're phrasing it. It's going to apply to certainly a lot of people in the audience.
Oh, it is, absolutely. We're going to come back to this as soon as we come back from this break. Please don't go away. Join us with more revelations on mediumship.